Burkina Faso confirms coup plot against junta leader. Says soldiers linked with terrorist group tried to assassinate Captain Ibrahim Traoré and also plot a coup against him. I'm going to give you the details of the story very soon, but before I go ahead, please kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't subscribed. If you have subscribed, please click on that notification button and just so you get notified. So this is what the Minister of Defense or the Security Minister in Chief is saying here. But it's in French, so I'm trying to interpret it and read the news in details to you whilst he's saying this. Burkina Faso's military government has announced the foiling of what it described as a major coup plot targeting junta leader Captain Ibrahim Traoré. While Security Minister Mahamadou Sana, in a televised address on Monday, revealed that both active and retired soldiers had conspired with terrorist groups to storm the presidential palace. And according to Security Minister Sana, quoting him further, the plotters had set their sights on 16th April for a direct assault on the presidency. They had been recruiting soldiers and passing strategic information to terrorist elements to fuel unrest and incite rebellion. Sana said this. Well, he added that the group planned to destabilize the country and install a regime controlled by an international organization. Of course, we know how the international communities, especially France, have been trying to destabilize Burkina Faso. And the other day, we saw U.S. Senators and military chiefs debating and saying that the gold in Burkina Faso, Captain Traoré is using it to empower himself or make himself powerful. And I ask, what is the business of the US with Burkina Faso? Is the gold? Yes. Is the natural resources theirs? Or is any African countries going to ask US how they spend their money or how they handle their natural resources? Oh, well, let's move on with this news. Still talking about the news, according to Sana, conspirators also try to manipulate military office using religious and traditional leaders to rally support for the coup. He further alleged that the masterminds were operating from Ivory Coast and identified two former army officers believed to be behind this operation. Ivorian authorities have not yet responded to these allegations. However, the announcement follows last week's arrest of several military personnel, including two officers suspected of plotting to destabilize the regime of Captain Ibrahim Traoré, according to security sources. This is not the first reported coup attempt since Traoré seized power in 2022 amid mounting anger above and over jihadist violence. Despite moving away from France and forging closer ties with Russia for better security support, attacks by jihadist groups continue to claim lives regularly. And Burkina Faso, along with Mali and Niger, recently withdrew from the regional bloc ECOWAS, as we all know, and they formed a new alliance of military-led governments, citing common security threats and shared ideological directions together. Now, the question is, who are these elements trying to plot a coup against Captain Ibrahim Traoré? For numerous times, we've had a number of failed coup attempts against Captain Ibrahim Traoré. We all know that Ibrahim Traoré is a name in the lips of everyone in Africa or everyone who is interested in what is going on in Africa and Africa development right now. I dare say, what is the interest of the West? We know how Gaddafi died. Are we seeing another attack of Gaddafi? Or are we seeing another history of Gaddafi happening? Are we seeing another history of Thomas Sankara happening? We know how Thomas Sankara was killed, betrayed by his own people in support of the international and with support, I'll say, with support of the international communities. Is this going to happen again? But what I'm going to let The people
Le
who are
complot se
trying
poursuit
to
activement depuis leur
plot
centre
this coup
d'opération à
know
Abidjan,
is that
avec pour
Africa
objectif de
of
semer le
today,
chaos au Burkina Faso
it's no longer
avant le mois de juin.
the Africa of
Les
yesterday.
services de
Africa of
renseignement poursuivent leurs
yesterday,
actions de
Africa of the
surveillance
time of
et tiendront
Gaddafi,
l'opinion nationale
Africa
au
of the
courant
time
de
of
toute
Thomas
évolution de
Sankara,
la situation.
Africa of the time of Patrice
Plusieurs autres
Mulumba,
personnes impliquées sont
that they
suivies
killed and
et
framed as
assumeront les conséquences
terrorists,
de leurs
as
actes
evil
le
people
moment
against
venu.
their own people.
Nous
That
invitons les
Africa,
populations à
it's no
rester
longer
sereines
the
et
Africa
vigilantes
of today.
et à signaler
People
toute
have read
activité
history.
suspecte.
People are
Quant
enlightening
aux vaillantes
themselves.
forces combattantes,
People are
nous
educating
les
themselves
encourageons
on
à
African
poursuivre leur
history
mission avec
of the past
détermination
and what happens.
tout en
So
restant
there
vigilants.
is no Africa that will
La
believe
patrie ou
that
la
Traoré
mort,
is actually a bad
nouvelle
person.